We are Music Studio 333. We've got our podcast, Chaos and Aesthetics.
We do.
I'm Kira G, and I'm here today with Ash.
Hey.
Can
Funny.
you tell us a little bit about yourself, Ash?
Yeah, so I do social media, I do video, my film won second place at a film festival.
Ooh.
What was that, yesterday? No,
Yeah.
the day, but I don't know.
It
It's
was
also confusing.
Thursday.
It was Thursday?
Yeah.
Jeez. Okay, so, but I'm doing good. But I also produce your show, your
He does.
social media. I make all those videos, and I also do poetry.
He also plays bass with us sometimes, but
Sometimes.
today is specifically what we're talking about because we originally actually met. We met at a poetry slam.
We did, yeah.
And
You said that you would make music for my poetry, and then that never happened.
Hey, okay. He ended up becoming our bassist for a little while. Now he does our social media.
Mm-hmm.
And we got a little off track, but this episode is going to be dedicated to poetry.
It's dedicated to poetry, yeah.
So
spoken word in my case.
Spoken word, but also like how to turn poetry into music, and all of that other stuff. So we're really excited.
And anybody watching, if you want a lesson from either of us, my creative writing lesson, Kira's guitar, whatever lesson, go to musicstudio333.com.
And just a quick little heads up, it looks like we're not live on Instagram right now.
Hey, can you move over to press Alt-Tab, and then move over to, or you can just open.
You want to run over there and help them real quick?
Yeah, it says we're live.
It does.
What's that red thing that you can talk into the mic?
I don't know what I'm doing.
Oh,
Oh, you're asking buttons?
We're just getting a couple.
Scroll up on that list of sources. Yeah. It says Music Studio 333 is streaming.
Maybe it's just my thing.
It's
Are you
not
getting
sending
any
to
comments
Chaos.
or anything like
It's
that?
not sending to Chaos. It's just sending to Music Studio 333.
Yeah, I just mean like on the
This
Instagram.
chaos
I'll
thing
see
says
it.
streaming as or no, it's Habari.
Yeah.
Okay, don't worry about it.
Okay.
I bet you're right.
Well, hey, open up Instagram in there's a tab called Instagram, and then hit go live. I forgot about
There
that.
we
That's
go.
the dumb thing
Yay.
about Instagram.
Okay, can we introduce ourselves one more time?
Yeah. Hi Instagram.
Hello.
Welcome back. You've been gone. We've missed you.
We missed you. We're so happy to be live now. I'm just gonna triple check that we actually are. We are Music Studio 333.
We are. Hey,
And-
we're live.
Woo, we're live.
Would you look at that?
And we're coming to you with Chaos as an Aesthetic.
We are.
Yeah. Our new podcast is called Chaos and Aesthetics, and we interview local musicians and poets, all kinds of things like that. We want local artists in the community to come here and to be able to share their artwork.
And that's me.
And
I'm a
that's
local
Ash.
artist in the community. That's how we met. So I make your social media videos. I make your
Yeah,
I shoot your concerts. What else do I do?
He also is helping me grow my business, Music Studio 333, which is really cool and really fun. And he also was the bassist in our band for a little while. Now he does our social media for the band, also for my studio.
Mm-hmm.
But this episode, we're specifically going to be talking about something we both love, poetry.
Yeah, that's how we met.
So we've got the poetry episode this time.
We got the poetry episode, and if you want, I already gave this pitch to the other people, but if you want creative writing lessons from me or music lessons from Kira,
go to musicstudio333.com.
you got a free trial lesson. Might as well use it. I mean, it's 15 minutes. It's 15 minutes. If you hate us, don't text us back,
There you go.
It's easy. Just ghost us. That's all you have to do if you hate us. Like, we're not going to spam you or anything. Just come on, check it out.
Easy peasy.
Easy peasy.
So, he's going to perform some of his poetry for us today. We're going to talk a little bit about just like some literary devices and poetry. We're going to talk about rhyme schemes.
Ooh.
We're going to play some of our poetry.
Ooh.
And then we're going to play a song that we've written based off of poetry.
And that's Richard?
Yeah, but also I have a poem I turned into a
Oh,
song.
yeah, yep. You were
Yeah.
telling me about that. Cool.
So it's gonna be a fun episode. Stick around. I'm gonna text Finn also and let them know we're live. 'cause
Rock on. Where's my camera?
really
Am I
like for
looking
them
in
to
that
be
one
there.
to deliver poetry, or am I looking at you? You or you? Who am I talking to? You're the audience. I'm gonna be staring
The
you in
camera,
your
right,
souls as
that's-
I deliver poetry,
Okay.
which is exactly what everybody wants.
I'm hopping in right now.
Beautiful.
Okay.
And
Finn,
Matt, can you
join.
just go over and click on Restream in that tab so I can make sure I'm in frame? Yeah, because I'm seeing like a delay. Up the tab on top left, very far left. Dashboard dash Restream.
Ah,
There we go. And press pause and play just to update it. Is
So
it-
before we get into your poem, can you tell us a little bit about
Hey.
why you wrote it? Tell us the title first.
What are we doing? Richard or
King Richard, yeah.
Richard. So I did street photography for a little bit, and I met this man named Richard, who was homeless, and he just had such like a warm persona to him, and he was just like he was wearing a cowboy hat and like a leather jacket with what do you call these things that like
Fringe.
fringe. He had a leather
Yeah,
jacket with
sick.
fringe, and I'm like, I want to talk to this guy. And he had a guitar. Guitar sitting next to him. He wasn't playing it. So I was doing street photography, and my photography typically focuses on like the less known areas of
Yeah.
like what like because you see like the art crowd it focuses on some areas, and then like homelessness, like despite all the art and creativity that could come out of that. People just don't like to talk to it. It's an ugly topic. And I wanted to do street photography, so I asked him how he was doing, asked him if I could take some pictures. I took some pictures, and then we just talked for like an hour. He told me his life story. And
I think that's so cool. I think we all could do that like a little bit more.
yeah,
I think
and
that's a
not
valuable
put it
thing.
on YouTube. That's
Yeah.
like don't just talk to
Exact-
people.
Like genuine human connection, and like sometimes like you do not know where you're gonna get the best advice you could ever get, and not even just advice, but like a friendly connection, you know?
Yeah. But anyway, after that, he showed me his guitar was broken, so I got him some wood glue and some clamps to help him fix it.
See, I love that about music. It's
Yeah.
just such a uniting thing, you know?
Yeah. But then I wrote this poem about him. Are you going to play along, or am I just...
I kind of want to just hear you do this poem.
Okay, sounds good.
personally.
I'm going to stare into the camera and... My name is Richard, but you don't know me. My name is nothing. My occupation is lonely. My social is insignificant, and my safety is insecure. The soft brush of a life alone and a past so impure. The alleyway is where I live, strumming this old guitar. The stagnant sounds of Willie and Cash score the beyond bizarre. A tweaker sharpens her wooden shank as she paces across the way, and the Disney princess of Natty Ice gets lost in the music and sways. Don't call me homeless, 'cause I have a home despite my lack of a house. And don't call me a loner, 'cause I'm not alone even though I get my doubts. But every day is still a battle of lethargic kings and thieves, and my wits remain sharp, and my knife remains keen. I think of the days I spent locked up as the best I've ever had. More cigarettes than a man can smoke, and the pot wasn't half bad. The girls came one day a week and kept me company now and then. I got a job and kept busy and walked with a cool head. God, where am I? And walked with a cool head. I did my crime, or I served my time. I did my crime. It was time to go back home. I'm so sorry. I just memorized this before the podcast. But my life was bleak, and my wife was a cheat, and I walked all these bars all alone. So I started as a welder, compounding angles of lead, and left as a failure with nowhere to lay my dirty head. So I head to a bridge and said hello to the friend of the devil I knew, and that's when I took my first sip of the vagabond brew. What a shock that the man on top wants a man in a two-piece suit. And what a shock that the man on top has no desire for you. The American dream is feverish and cold, so maybe I can be too. My ragged hair and my jagged nails, my deadlines and stench lines all grew. So here I sit on the corner, but I never beg, borrow, or steal, 'cause life has a way of taking away, but they were never my cards to deal. My name will be forgotten by the quake of the morning light. My time was lost and my records were tossed before I could say good night. And if I can say one thing before the rain, if I ever am to be known, bring my fame amongst my shame and deliver it to my home. And you can take my advice, starting tonight. The world is ours to roam.
That was beautiful.
Messed up a little bit in the beginning
That's
there.
okay. I
Yeah,
mean,
it's
that's a part of being. That's just a part of art, right?
Yeah, no, I mean it's not. It's what it is, you know. And sometimes like you're gonna mess up, and sometimes by messing up, you just improv and say things that end up better.
And
like
then your art ends up better.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I talk about this. My whole process is to just memorize it and let the words change themselves.
I think that's cool. It's challenging.
It is, and sometimes I write down something that's like, oh, it makes sense, but then I say it and I say it and I say it and then I memorize it,
Mm-hmm.
and then I'm like, that makes no sense, or that doesn't work, or that's not a good rhyme. Try harder, and it
Yeah.
helps you work out your material a little bit.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I also thought just the message is beautiful. You know,
Yeah.
it's really lovely. I think that sometimes when you want to describe something, but it's so politically lethal, is
Yeah.
that the word I'm looking for? The only way you can really represent like the emotional aspects of it is through art.
Mm-hmm.
You know, without, I mean, you're always going to stir up controversy, but without, like, you know what I mean? Like, to really get to the emotional core of something like that.
I think I wrote that 5 years ago too, and
Wow.
I'm just now reading it for the first time live on this show, because it's like, it's a divisive topic, you know, and I'm
It
not
is.
sure if it's something that people do want to hear, and I wanted to give it time and perfect it before I put it out, but
It's beautiful. And I think it shouldn't be a divisive topic, which is exactly why we need more art and more representation.
exactly.
And I think it's beautiful.
Mhm.
We're going to talk about poetry and music just in general. I was thinking back to a time when I was in my English class in college in English 102. And I
Excuse us, there's a train going through the building.
interesting. And I and I went ahead and I asked my professor if I could write my final, because we had to do poetry analysis.
Yeah.
And I was really into Bob Dylan at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, can I please do it on the lyrics of Bob Dylan songs? And I chose the Times They Are Changing album. And I asked my professor because at the time he had just won the Pulitzer Prize. And for, I think they said, what was it? Powerful, poetic, and literary use or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then he also won a Nobel Prize in literature.
You are so lucky to have him as a. You know how much the Nobel Prize awards, by the way?
What?
$1 million.
That's crazy. I don't even know if he accepted it, though. He's really like a recluse.
Or wait, was that the Nobel Prize or the Peace Prize? Is the
Um,
Nobel Prize the Peace Prize?
It's a bunch of different prizes.
Eh.
The Nobel Prize. It's a social thing. So whereas like the Pulitzer Prize is like a literary thing, it's more like you get it for literary excellence. With the Nobel Prize, it's more about like what your art has, the effect it has socially.
Interesting.
And so the fact that he won both of those, and also it's rare for a musical artist to get a Pulitzer Prize.
Mm-hmm. Kendrick.
Yeah.
He just won.
Yeah.
But it's actually funny because I have a very similar story. When I was in high school, we had the poetry unit, and to introduce us to poetry, the first thing they gave us the lyrics to the song "Richard Cory" by
Mhm.
Simon and Garfunkel, printed out, and then they played the song to kind of like bridge the idea that music and poetry can be intertwined, and poetry isn't just
I
what
love
some
that.
old British guy wrote and is like you have to recite in
Mm.
class. So they bridged that divide, and the song is about a rich man who ends up. The spoiler for the amazing song, go listen to it if you haven't. But he ends up killing himself. The rich man
Ooh.
kills himself, while the narrator of the song,
Trigger
who's somebody
warning.
who works in his factory,
Mm.
says how much he wishes that he could be that person, even though he's dead, even though all that
Wow.
happened. He's just like, the orgies on the yacht, and he surely must be happy with everything he's got. Come to find out he's dead, and this poor guy still wants to be him instead of just someone working in the factory. But that it was a poetic song, and they bridged the divide between poetry and music like that in that class,
Mm-hmm.
which I thought was really smart.
That's super cool. Love that.
Yeah.
I pulled up some of I have a little challenge for you actually.
Ooh,
Um,
fun.
I pulled up some literary devices
Okay.
that's used in poetry. And I want you to use the poem that you just did. If you can pull up a line that you feel like utilizes this literary device. Are you ready?
I haven't been in English class.
Well, you're in it now. How about that? This is poetry music class.
6 or 7 years since I've been in any English class. So
And I think what I love, just rounding back to Bob Dylan for 1 second.
yeah,
What I love about him is that his music uses, because he does a lot of ballads and stuff and he tells stories with his music, his music uses a lot of poetic literary devices.
yeah.
And I love that so much. Okay.
Remind me what a literary device.
I'm
Remind
gonna
the
give you-
viewers
I'm
at
gonna
home what a literary device
I'm going to
is.
give you one and we're going to see if I think you're going to get it. Let's just go with symbolism. Let's start with that.
Symbolism.
Symbolism.
Can I hear it used in a sentence?
Okay, how about I read one of my poems and then I tell you the symbolism I used
Is it
in
like a
that one.
metaphor?
No. Okay, it's kind of like a metaphor. Yes. Symbolism is when you use an object to portray an emotion or a feeling. That's a simplified way to say
Okay.
it.
So, now let me ask you a question. When I say the tweaker sharpens her wooden shank as she paces across the way, is that symbolic? Because I think
Yeah,
in the story, it's symbolic to the setting he's in.
absolutely.
I'd call it kind of a MacGuffin more than symbolism, but I'm also in the film world.
Because you're in the film world. It's called symbolism in the poetry world.
Okay, so I was right, is what you're saying.
So yeah, you were. You got it.
All right.
All right, I'm gonna give you another one then.
Okay.
Okay. Situational irony.
Situational irony. I'm gonna say the time I spent locked up was the best I ever had. More cigarettes than a man can
Mhm.
smoke in the pot wasn't half bad.
You're doing pretty good. You're doing pretty good at this.
I feel like that's a really ironic situation.
I
Like
think I
you're homeless, but you
should-
look back to prison and you're like, man, I miss it there. More cigarettes than I have now, and okay, pot.
Yeah. Okay. This is I'm not gonna. An octave.
An octave. Or like in a story, or
In your poem.
okay, use that in a sentence.
An octave is a stanza consisting of 8 lines. That was an unfair question.
Okay. An
No,
octave.
no,
No. Give me a second. This is Dead Air, the podcast, so you talk for a second while I
Okay.
remember. Because
While he remembers, I'm gonna go ahead and read a poem that I had to analyze. You decide if it's embarrassing or not. But we had to write our own poem and then analyze it. And I chose this poem I have called My Pride. So I'm gonna read it because this is where I'm getting all of the prompts for the literary devices. It's called My Pride. It goes like this. I'm pretty sure she disapproves of every single thing I try. My compromises horrify her. What I sell so I can buy. But despite my worst intentions, I listen to her every time. She knows I need her interventions to keep my heart in line. I almost fell upon my knees for you and ran up to his door. I almost brought up what we've been through. I won't do that anymore. I almost begged to get you back. Now I'm no longer by your side. So I may never have you, but thank God I have my pride. I couldn't see into the mirror for 7 days in a row. Now the glass is even clearer than before I knew, although the memories still sear me, but the burns are better still around than if I had him near me and myself was nowhere to be found.
Can I pretend that I didn't just spend the past 5 minutes looking stupid and actually try and make a comment on the performance?
What did you listen to it?
Yeah, no, I did.
Oh, I think the camera was on me, so no one knew you were looking stupid.
No, not looking stupid. Like when we were talking about similes and metaphors and all this.
Oh, yeah.
Octave.
Yeah.
Okay, so I dislike poetry.
What?
But hey, I like spoken word because poetry is what you think of like in class when it's like roses are red, violets are blue, and it has a predictable flow. And I'm gonna bring in a different genre, and because rap is rhythm and poetry, and they work on something called flow there, right? In
Yeah.
rap music. And I think when you just deliver poetry, because this is coming from me as a spoken word person, and if you're not looking to do spoken word, I'm not criticizing you. But what I am saying is that with spoken word, one of the most important things in it is like, one, your flow, how you fall into the rhythm, which is kind of like a trademark of me, and two, how you deliver your lines. Like, are you reading the lines as if it's just someone talking? Like, I'm here opening my heart out to you and putting, like, emoting into it. And one of my least favorite parts about, like, regular poetry is how it's read so blandly, you know? So when I hear spoken word, though, I hear people pouring their emotions into their words.
So just to bring a contrast to that really quickly, because
Yeah.
I appreciate spoken word, but I also do appreciate poetry. You think that there is an art to
Yeah.
letting the words speak for you, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I also like when you're talking about, because that's almost like the line, that's like the edge of you're teetering into music territory. You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
Well, I think, like, when people say poetry, a lot of times they mean written word, or spoken word. But I think most of the time, poetry, when people say poetry, they refer to the written word. And I think it's just adapting the written word into the spoken word is something that people aren't too familiar with. But like when you read a poem, right, you
I
have to
mean,
adapt it into like a spoken
yeah.
word type thing. But that's just my opinion, you know?
No, I mean, you are totally. I mean, I've heard so many poets emote with their poetry when
Yeah.
they perform it.
Yeah.
But I hear you with the like adding in a rhythm. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
emoting,
And
emoting rhythmically is a whole art. You know what I mean?
Rhythm isn't even as necessary, but I think just like delivering it expressively is like an art in and of itself. It's like a
Absolutely.
two-part thing that you go from written word to spoken word. You're like doubling up on what you have to do, because you have to have the written word first, but then give it the spoken word treatment and like treat the art form like it's like going to be listened to instead of read on a page, you know?
Yeah.
Like an audiobook, kind of. Like you're not gonna, you know.
Yeah.
And that's, you know, a lot of people hate on Shakespeare, right? Because when do you learn Shakespeare? You learn Shakespeare in school, and they have you read it out of the book. And like all the art of Shakespeare is in the performance. Shakespeare is like
It's not
classic
okay.
spoken
I'm
word.
just I'm gonna pause you right there, because there is art in the performance, but there's a lot of art in the way that he wrote. I mean, there are like so many classes on how Shakespeare wrote.
Yes,
you know?
and the writing is important, but the writing, I think, and I think everybody who read Shakespeare in school and hated it, which is, I'm going to assume, the majority of the people who read Shakespeare in school can attest to.
I do not assume that. I do not
I'm
assume
assuming.
that. As a Shakespeare fan, I do not assume that.
Well,
and as a theater kid, I also do not assume that.
well, I'm going to speak for the everyman here.
For the
and
emo kids, there.
Hey, to the everyman, I'm speaking for when I say a lot of people don't like Shakespeare like that, because it's hard to appreciate the written aspect if it's delivered by a kid who's like either high or asleep, you know?
I mean, yeah, sure. Yeah, absolutely. Who wants to go see a boring performance?
Yeah, yeah, and you're not gonna recognize the like brilliance of the writing if it's just like
Yeah. Absolutely. So, like, I agree with you. There is an aspect to, okay, you have the literary devices, you have a cool poem, and then there's an aspect to, okay, just as important is how are you going to perform this if you are trying to make it a performance. You know what I mean?
because it is a spoken word is a performance.
Spoken word poetry is a performance. Absolutely. Yeah. Okay, let's go ahead and play. Can we do your... I just want to make it through the night. I'd love to hear it. Can you tell us a little bit about why you made that one?
I think it speaks for itself.
Really?
There's not much of a backstory to it.
Gotcha. Okay, I'm gonna let you go ahead and start, so I can get a vibe for the rhythm, and then I'll.
And this is a jam, by the way. We haven't practiced this. This is just off the hook. Off the hook. It's off the hook.
We have jammed with this song before many times.
Yeah, but we haven't in many, many months. So let me just get started.
You got this.
I just gotta make it through the night. Maybe tomorrow things will be all right. I just gotta make it through the night. But dear God, I think I'm about to lose my mind. I don't know if anybody's listening, but God is missing. Maybe I just need a friend to be with me, feel with me. I fell out these trees and landed in these leaves. They said to leave, but the bottle laughed and closed the lid on me. Now I can't see. I asked the cashier for anything nicotine or liquor, please. If it hurts me, at least I'm free. 'Cause how you think I'm gonna have to be lonely, be only, along with myself and stems and seeds on me. One girl only. I just gotta make it through the night. Maybe tomorrow it'll be alright, but I just gotta make it through the night. And dear God, I think I'm about to lose my mind. It may just be the clarity, but it's clear to me that it's unfair to be my own charity to my instant insincerities. 'Cause I am a paragon of a parody, of a debutante dunked in heresy. But I'll still wear you on my severed sleeve. Your skin will still fall when I fall asleep. My demons deep dive into Hennessy. Fuck it, my demons will fly till I'm scared of me. You must have been an amphetamine before you injected me and left me with your leprosy, with you as the remedy. My eyes are too red to see the things that I read, the things you wrote for me. Back when we were young and we felt like we were living free when beauty was reality. But now the smoke too thick to see, I lived in a fantasy. So who can I fucking be when my face in this manic midnight mirror isn't me? Who can be pinned as the murderer when I'm as blind as I can see? Was it my atrophy or my empathy? My apathy or my entropy? Maybe it's the fear of fatal venom, that they'll kill me if I let them, that they'll kill me if I let up. Back straight, lift a head up, grab a pen and close your eyes if you're feeling all fed up. If the demons fly out loud and silver linings, don't dread them. For the scars in your eyes, for the food, for the flies, for the blast in the skies, for the fire in your mind. 'Cause I keep my fears in the closet next to the fraying fringe. I don my locket as a lock to remind you what pain is. Dormant hell in the dormer I fell down below and cracked my shell. It's a kangaroo court and I'm being tried for being caught, not being alive. For every war I fought while they sat inside. What if I lost? Would they be satisfied if I died at Earth's feet with a Pinocchio nose? While I lie in a bee, say it was only my woes, and I smoke myself asleep in a bed made to two, chained to a ghost, the shadow of you. I look down to the ground to gaze upon the scars, see a dim light bright, but then notice the scars, and I'm brought back to the price tag of a life sad mind bag, dime bag. You gotta fight, get right, gotta get that layback, eyes shut. If I make it through the night, it'll be alright, so I should take her advice and stay safe tonight, 'cause I just gotta make it through the night. And maybe tomorrow, it'll be alright, but I just gotta make it through the night, 'cause dear God, I think we're about to lose my mind. What's that look? You're looking at
That
me
was
like
gorgeous.
you're scared.
No, I was just focusing.
You're just staring at me.
I was just focusing on the guitar, okay?
Okay.
It sounded really good. I think
Yeah.
that's one of my favorites of your poems, to be
Aw, thank
honest with you.
Thank
I also really like the one that he performed when I first met him.
Which one was that?
It was which one was it? It was,
Was it
I am not my
Anxious
body,
Thoughts?
I am not my mind, I am not my body. That one.
Oh, that was just that was an intro.
Oh,
Oh,
was
wait,
a
are you
part of
talking
a
about the
poem.
God one?
yeah. That's
Oh,
good.
maybe
like
I
that one.
should end the show with that.
No, so we're gonna do the fire really quickly, actually.
The fire?
Yeah, so this is a poem that I wrote a while ago, called The Fire, and then our band actually adapted it to be kind of like our little beginning intro theme song. So we're going to talk a little bit, just because it's also a music podcast, we're going to talk a little bit about how to turn your poems into music.
Okay.
And we actually, both of us are familiar with this in our band. Something that we like to do is bring pieces of our poetry in. If we have something and we don't have a place for it and it's just like a little line or something like that, we'll bring it in. And like that's literally helped us create so many of like my favorite bridges that we have to so many of our songs.
The Brooklyn one?
Mm-hmm.
London one?
What?
The London Bridge?
No.
Oh, I'm falling down on this.
Oh, that's funny. Ha 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 ha. Oh my god. I wish I had Pam here to say cringe. to be
We
honest.
have to label this as a comedy
Really
podcast
wish I
again because we
do.
labeled it last time. I'm not in camera, am I? Hello.
You're not?
Hold on. Hi. How's it going? Good to see you again.
All right. So I'm going to go ahead and read this poem, and then we're going to go ahead and I'm going to play it for you, a little bit of it for you, and then we're going to end the show. We'll end the show out with that poem if you want.
I mean, do you want to push it? We have time. We can push it to 45 again.
I think by the time we break down let's go ahead and
let's
see.
play it by ear.
So, The Fire. I'm going to go ahead and read this one for you. I'm not super great at reading poetry. That's not my forte. But I'm going to go ahead and read this out loud because we don't have a way to pull it up right now. Okay. It goes, do you prefer the journey or the destination? Do you crave the pain or alleviation?
What do we want, Lachlan?
If you keep me on the edge too long, I might never fall. Patience pushes me away from the edge of the wall. Stuck in my root is a shivering shout. This fire stoked the fever sicker. Flames consume me inside out. Time attempts to soothe the flicker. But if I burn, let me burn. With a fire so hot, with a strength so fierce, let my fire pierce the ground, shatter the glass, shatter the past, devour all the flowers around. The edge will always irritate me, ever drawn to her temptation. She will never satiate me, aggravating agitation. If I stifle this desire, if I try to stop this fire, there is nothing I will achieve. There is no possible way to relieve. I ache and I yearn. So for now, let me burn. So that was the original written part, right?
You muted me.
Yes, I did. Oh, I forgot. Sorry. There you go. You're back. Hello.
Can't appreciate art anymore. Can't appreciate art anymore.
Listen.
No, I get it.
If you had your bass today, I would absolutely adore for you to play it, but
I don't.
we don't. So I'm just gonna play a little piece of this.
Give me the guitar, I'll play.
Do you know the chords?
No, I know the bass part on the guitar.
Oh, that'd be kind of. We'll do that next time.
Okay.
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 I hope everything is coming through okay. This is fun. Either way, this has been
This
really
is
fun.
fun, yeah.
It's been a great time.
I'm enjoying this.
Me too. I hate how when I play the guitar, it comes in and out sometimes. So sorry, guys. Fingers crossed. We're good there. Okay.
Yeah.
Do you? I'm gonna back off a little bit. Do you prefer the journey or the destination? Do you crave the pain or alleviation?
What do we want, Kira?
I'll tell you what we want. We want the power, want the passion, want the pressure and fame. We wanna walk into a room and everybody know our name. Wanna roll through life like we're playing a game of pretend.
Be
So
a star.
if I burn, let me burn. Let it shatter the past. Let it shatter the glass. If I burn, let me burn. With a fire so high, let it pierce the ground. Let it devour all the flowers around. God, I ache. God, I yearn. So for now, let me burn. So it's just a little piece of a song we've been working on.
We have some comments on the YouTube.
Oh,
that
let's
we
hear.
never answered. Messi or Ronaldo?
What?
Not sure. Somebody asked that on the YouTube. Audio is low.
Oh no! Oh no!
Just
I'll go ahead and turn this up.
yeah. And what's this podcast all
What's
about?
this podcast all about? This podcast is all about music. We're actually doing a poetry episode right now.
Yeah.
And
Poetry and music.
poetry
though.
and music episode, kind of
So-
like talking about let's go into actually a little bit how to turn your poetry into music if that's something that you want to do.
Yeah.
And then let's also shout out. So shout out to Habari. Thank you so much. Go follow them at Habari Entertainment. We use their podcast studio. They're epic. You can go check them out and see if you want to start a podcast too, because we would love to watch it. And I'm actually a music teacher, and I have a studio. It's called Music Studio 333. You can find me at musicstudio333.com, where all the members of my band teach music. And it's a super fun, great community over there.
If you've liked my poetry, I teach creative writing in the music genre.
He teaches creative writing, but he also teaches bass. And we've got a lot of super fun stuff over there.
Yeah.
And so let's go ahead and can we talk about how to turn your music into poetry? I mean, other way around. Let's just talk about the structure of music really quickly, right? Just a simple, basic structure.
Do you just press a button on that long remote TV remote?
Yeah.
TV remote, the one all the way to your right. No.
Ooh,
all
this
the way
one.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Just press that real quick or else it'll shut off.
It's just power?
No, just press like enter or
Okay.
anything.
Okay.
Yep, we're good.
Cool.
Love it.
There's like a thing. Oh, cool. Awesome. All right. Sorry about that. So we're going to go ahead and also if you're a musician in Arizona or you're willing to fly out to Arizona, let us know, please. You can message us at musicstudio_333. We're on TikTok. We're on Instagram. We're on YouTube. If you find us there and give us a message, we would perhaps love to interview you. It just depends. But we would love to see your content and we'd love to maybe get you on the show, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Awesome.
Absolutely.
And then also just a thank you to Matt Camp. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Matt. Feel free to chime in.
Yeah, say
and
hi,
You have a
shout
microphone
out.
for a reason.
I don't have anything I need to talk about.
Wow. Listen, he has a lot to talk about, and
He
he's lying
does.
because we literally just spent an hour out there talking about very interesting things.
Mhm. Matt, tell them your political opinions.
Stop it. Shh.
As a bartender, you don't talk about anything political.
Oh my, we need to implement that policy on this podcast.
Listen.
I'm just kidding. Okay, let's go ahead. Let's
I'm
talk
voting for
about
Kamala, by the way. The way you say that makes me sound like I'm voting for Trump.
So we have, when we're talking about a song, right, we have a verse and then you have a chorus. This is just like really simple, right? But some people don't know this. Like when I was teaching music, one of the biggest things that they found helpful was me giving them just like a structure, because I would have people like writing on and on and on with no sense of structure. So just a simple structure you can think of is like you have your verse, you have your chorus, you have your verse 2, you have your chorus, you have your bridge, you have your chorus, and you can come back to that. And you can change it however you want. I love doing like cycles. You can rearrange that however you want.
Where does the breakdown come in?
The breakdown would come down in the bridge, probably.
In the bridge?
Mhm. Breakdowns are usually bridges.
Ah, I've seen them labeled differently.
I mean, yeah, but in the structure, because you can add anything you want in that structure, but that's just like a simple structure.
Ah.
So it would probably go in the bridge area.
Copy.
Would be my suggestion. But you could do a breakdown at the beginning, but never gonna get it, never gonna get it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like a lot of breakdowns end up happening in the bridges.
Now, what are all these things that you just said? I know chorus, verse. What's a bridge? What's a breakdown for them?
So, it can be kind of whatever you want. I love Adele. I'm a big Adele fan, and she is amazing with bridges, an absolute queen. So I grew up like obsessed with bridges.
I
of
built
songs.
a bridge in middle school. It crumbled immediately. We didn't know about triangles yet. Didn't learn anything about triangles yet.
Those bridges are great.
Yeah.
Bridges are great. Don't get me wrong. Not trying to throw no shade to any bridges, but I am specifically talking about musical bridges, of course. And that
Like ones with speed bumps that make
So-
songs when you drive over them.
musical bridges is like a section of a song where you want to kind of like, I think they need to be the most impactful part, to be honest. That might be a controversial opinion, but I think they need to be the most impactful part because it's like the last message you get to say outside of the chorus. You know what I mean? It's the last like hit home, and you can put your like climax. It's your climax, your bridge. I like to make the bridge my climax of the song.
Does the bridge have to be the climax, or can you put that at the beginning too?
You can't really put the climax at the beginning.
Well, what
you
is
could, but
so what what distinguishes a bridge from a chorus? Like, how do you tell?
So a chorus is usually something that you repeat over and over again,
Or a
or
bridge
you
from
can.
a verse, then.
So it's really up to you. It's how you structure it. So
Yeah.
a bridge from a verse. You can think of it in terms of order. So for me, that helps. Like verse 1 is first, and then chorus is after that, and a pre-chorus is right above that. If you want to add a pre-chorus.
Can you play a bridge for me?
Yeah. Let me think. Yeah, I got one. Okay. I left the love and I left the money, and I'm guessing there's a reason they say assets 2020. Right?
Yeah, and then play the chorus from that so they can see, or the verse from that so they can see the difference.
And then the verse is more like no longer worried that I won't know how to stay. I'm worried that I might just give it all away. I'm no longer so that's like you can hear the little bit of a difference. I really like.
So it's
the
change in melody. It could be a change in instrumentation.
Absolutely. Some people change genre. Some people change key. Some people modulate. It's where you get to get creative. It's like a little space in the song where you can kind of go a little bit crazy there.
Yeah, and that's why it's used for the climax, because it's more impactful that way.
Absolutely.
And then breakdown would be.
Oh, so and then breakdown can come anywhere in this. It's just kind of like a part where you either emphasize the music or cut the music out entirely, emphasize the vocals. It's a very distinct difference, and it's usually like a hook, right? It's kind of when you take the hook and instead of using it at the beginning, you put it later in the song, or you can repeat it from the hook and then repeat it again. That's used a lot in music.
Yeah. But change in instrumentals, change in vocals, change in either or.
Yeah. And then again, a lot of it just has to do with your structure. So if it all sounds the same to you, but you want a way to structure it so it makes sense to you, it's just kind of like Tetris, You just got to give boxes to things so that you can kind of understand where you want them to go and move them around. And that's like the best way to approach poetry for me, because when I'm writing, a lot of the times I'll just write straight out of my head onto the guitar,
Yeah.
or straight out of my head and like sing it out loud. But if you're going from poetry, you need to have a way, you need to have something to kind of plug it into, a way to structure it. So if you are looking at a poem and you're like, oh, I like this section, I want to make it a chorus, you just kind of make sure that that's the heart of the message, and you're cool with repeating that over and over again, and you can keep an interwoven story together. Or there's all kinds of techniques you can do a walk around that's more compositional. I really like that. But yeah, we can go on to all kinds of different types of songwriting in another episode. Yeah. I think you get the general,
absolutely,
the gist.
You just started bringing up all these like words, and I'm like, do laymen know that? Like,
no, I really appreciate it. It's good to break it down.
If you played that for like your neighbor, would they be like, oh yeah, the bridge goes and then the verse, like, make it easy.
And I truly love teaching songwriting. It's one of my favorite things. I've mentored some people who I think are going to be really, really successful someday. And just being able to give them some sort of just a little tiny bit of guidance on their way to that beautiful path has been such a blessing, and I really love doing it. So if you're interested, DM me at deeptracks_333. Oh no, I'm sorry. That's my old account at Music Studio 333. So it's Music Studio _333 on all my social media accounts. That's TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube.
Or
go to my website, musicstudio333.com. I think this was a really fun, really calm episode.
Yeah, it wasn't very chaotic.
No, it wasn't.
Was it aesthetic?
It was a little chaotic.
A little bit, yeah.
A little fiery. We like a little fire.
We like fire.
Can you go ahead and check and make sure we didn't miss any comments?
Let's see.
And then we'll wrap things up here.
Should I wrap? Trump was a guest on Joe Rogan podcast is our next comment. Thank you for the information.
Oh yeah, we're gonna try and leave politics out of it, just because again I like, as much as important as social issues are, again, this show is about music and art, and I think that's the best way we can express our opinions and our views right now through this podcast.
Yeah. Should I do a little thing to play us out?
Go ahead. Would love that.
Okay.
I'll just play behind you.
Should I?
Come up
Should
with
I do a longer one? Should I do
Do a shorter one.
a shorter one?
Yeah.
Do you think I'm a weird person? Because when I open my mouth, my anxiety starts to worsen, and it feels like holding a conversation is coercion. And in the days that pass, my passive rationality turns into exertion. Because in the past, my reality has been uncertain. So even if I'm as careful as a certain to reanimate my fantasy as a cool person, I feel like I'll be left as worthless as the worst word in a screenplay with no immersion. It's like my mind is like a house that's only half furnished. And my ego is like a gifted car without a permit. And I feel nice, but I feel like I don't deserve it. But the blank stares and groans make me feel fully certain that sorry, you're snapping distracted me.
Sorry,
I wasn't expecting
cheering
the
you
blank
on.
it's really loud in my ear.
Oh, that's fair.
My the blank stares and smiles make me feel fully certain that, and it's just the easiest way to say that I'm worthless. I'm like an artist with no hopes of being a person. I'm like a fuck up with no hopes of being of service. It's like I'm a mistake that makes you fake like you care, when in reality I'm just straight worthless.
Is that it?
That's the last one. That's the one I met you.
Wow.
That's the one I performed
Yeah.
when I met you.
Yeah, that was beautiful.
Yeah.
Sad. Hard.
Yeah.
Good.
But also a feeling I felt.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think there's like anything bad in like.
No, absolutely not. It's important.
Yeah, no, because if I felt that way, I can guarantee that there
Other
are a lot of
people
other
felt
people who
that
felt
way.
like that, and
Absolutely.
maybe hearing that can kind of make them feel a little more understood, or feel like you're not so alone. You know.
Absolutely.
I think that's a great thing that poetry does for me. Is
Mm.
I feel like when you hear people go up and just pour out their hearts, you're like, I'm not so alone after all. Go to a poetry slam. Go to an open mic.
You know what? And I'm just gonna put this out there. It might make you a little bit susceptible to people stealing your poetry, but if you want to, you can go ahead and put it in the comments. We'd love to read your poetry.
Yeah.
We'd love to read your poetry.
Why
We'd
don't
love
you DM it to us?
Yeah,
and
DM
we'll
it to
shout
us.
you out.
I love that. What if on the next episode, if you DM us your poetry, we'll read some.
Yeah,
we
there
would
you
love
go.
to do that.
Yeah, where do they DM it?
Go ahead and DM it to @musicstudio_333.
Or if Instagram doesn't let you write that much, you can email it to Music Studio
KGEE
KGEE
@musicstudio333.com.
Yep.
Cool. Thank you so much. We really appreciate you guys. Thank you again, Matt. Thank you, Ash.
Can we introduce some chaos last minute? I feel like there
what?
wasn't enough chaos for this.
It was a very calm. Oh my goodness. You know what? Actually, here's some chaos. Next week, we have the Sad Girls coming on.
Ooh, that's going to be very chaotic.
It's going to be epic. It's going to be so chaotic. Go to musicstudio333.com for your free lesson and tune in next week because we've got the Sad Girls. Kelsey and Vox are coming. We're going to have some beautiful violin playing, and we're going to have cool, awesome punk indie artist play some epic music for us. If you like Will Wood, you'll love her.
Yeah. And if I can take a moment to stare directly into camera, as intimidating as I can, listen. Just sign up for a lesson.
Stop
It's free. No, sign up for a lesson. It's free. You might love it. You might learn a new instrument. I feel like you will. What's the worst that's going to happen? Maybe something bad'll happen if you don't.
No,
not that. But hey, sign up for. What are they going to lose?
We're not going to trigger people. Sit back.
What are they going to lose?
No.
Okay. Sorry if I triggered you.
You
but
are
what
not
you gonna
obligated in any way, but we would love for you to sign up.
You're not obligated, but you're listening to the podcast. You obviously made it to the end.
You
might want to learn a musical instrument. We do. How much is it? How much? Or we do telehealth. What's it called?
We do telehealth.
Not telehealth. You can't say that. You cannot say that. The Red Cross will get in trouble.
We do not do any medical services whatsoever.
Not yet.
No, will you stop it? Really, we need it. Okay, thank you
Okay.
so much for coming to our podcast. We are Chaos and Aesthetics by Music Studio 333. Thank you
It's
so
like
much.
You don't want any chaos.
Please tune in next week where we will have the Sad Girls, and they will be talking about ways that you can get gigs around here and breaking into the music industry as a local musician. There's going to be a lot of fun, and also just about being sad, because that's part of the thing. Oh, also, our band Chaos is an Aesthetic is a part of the Sad Girls, the original Sad Girls, and we just had a gig with them. We are probably going to show some of the footage as well. It's going to be fun.
So to wrap up, we know where you live, and just sign up for a lesson.
No, we don't. And thank you so much. We appreciate you.
Love y'all.